American History number 5. Laughing While Black. The Laughing Barrel. I want to give all the honor, glory, and praises to the Most High Yahawah and His only begotten Son, YAHAWASHI. Double honors to our elders at Great Millstone, taught me this truth through the Spirit. Single honors to the elect. Peace and blessings to the 1/3 and to the confusion of faces in the four corners of the earth. Shalom. Consequences of laughing while black. Kansas City man hauled out of comedy show and arrested after entitled white woman complained that he was laughing too loud, lawsuit says. No such thing as black, no such thing as white. There's a social constructs. So-called black folks in America, so-called, will be known, considered as the Judahites. From one of the 12 tribes of Israel, so-called white folks will be Edomites. Now, the point of the matter is that this goes back to entitlement. But the story is, they're at the comedy show, of course. Now, the man you see on the right-hand side, he will be the victim. Steve Young, who is also a police accountability activist. See, this happened in Kansas. He's also an activist. Now, we don't know if this is related to an incident that had happened to where he was recording when the officer body slammed someone. And pretty much he was like a part of the investigation or whatever. Right? So he likes to hold police accountable. And this since 2021 is Young's race that led to the arrest in the first place, according to the federal lawsuit filed on June 18, that accuses Kansas City police officers B. Dorothy and J. Comfort of violating his constitutional rights. So let's get to the point. The incident took place on March 22nd, 2022 at the Kansas City Music Hall during a set by stand-up comedian Hassan Minhaj, an American of Indian descent who spent 4 years working as a correspondent for The Daily Show. So in other words, he had a comedy show. Whoever's up there, he's from The Daily Show, which is a known satirical, cynical comedy show that covers news topics, but in a satirical format. And also, this individual should be known who's a comedian on the stage right now. So this is a venue that's not like on a Chitlin network or like some underground ish. Like, I'm pretty sure that this is something that has been promoted and well advertised, right? So anyways, Young and Jameson sat behind a white woman, and soon they were laughing and clapping along with the rest of the crowd. Remind y'all, he's dealt with a woman too. Guess what? The woman that he dealt with, the Edomite, another so-called white woman. But the white woman, Edomite woman, sitting in front of them, turned around and looked directly at Young, telling him to be quiet. You know what that sounds like? Shut up and dribble. Young, think about this, people. You're at a freaking, I'm gonna curse. You're at a freaking comedy show and somebody's telling you that you're clapping, you're laughing, and you're having too much of a good time. That's like telling all the fans at a football stadium to stop cheering for their fucking team that's scoring. I'm just going there now. Like, the entitlement of people who have hit the wall, or the wall have fallen on them, or they're just Karens where no one's looking at them, no one's paying attention to them, and you're just upset with the situation you're in your life. That's what I look at Karens as. In other words, the women who convicted, women who have Emmett Till like put to death, those type of women. So anyways, Young ignored her demands to continue watching the show, laughing along with the rest of the audience. But the white woman, Edomite woman, became increasingly annoyed and even stood up at one point to face him. This is a woman facing this man, telling him to stop laughing. The couple alleged, right? Young responded by telling her to stop harassing him and other members of the audience who were also getting annoyed by the woman. Quote, offered words of support, unquote, to the couple, the claim states. The Edomite woman then complained to security guards working that evening, who called Kansas City police. Officers Dorothy and Comfort showed up and began questioning the couple, disrupting the show to the point where Manjal left the stage, informing the audience he would return once the situation was resolved. That's just too damn much they was doing. This is Psalm chapter 35, verse 19. Well, Psalms 35 and 19. Let not them that are mine enemies wrongfully rejoice over me, neither let them wink with the eye that hate me without a cause. Now, what is your freaking probable cause? Woman, the security of the venue, and the Kansas City Police Department. What are all of your probable causes for harassing me for doing what you're supposed to do at a comedy show? Clap, laugh, and enjoy yourself. How am I penalized for doing that? Oh, well, I know why. You see this image right here? The laughing barrel. That's real. But we're going to get back to that. But this is also a part of American history. Hence, y'all want to make America great again? We'll always show you how you treated us when y'all consider America being great. That's why I call it American history, and I always hashtag it MAGA. But anyhow, without interviewing witnesses to gain a full perspective of the situation, the cops arrested the couple on a charge of disorderly conduct, which is often a quote contempt of cop unquote charge used against citizens who annoy officers when they can't find an actual crime that the subjects have committed. You know what I've been noticing a lot lately? I've been getting a lot of my articles where Jake been targeted or done wrong or racially profiled from this website called Atlanta Black Star, and it's another one called, I think it's called Shine My Crown. And I'm gonna be honest though, these are the kind of websites I like compared to Warstar Hip Hop and Bossip. Because Warstar Hip Hop and Bossip, they're anyways. But these let you know that these are incidents that occur every day, even if the incident happened a year ago or 6 months ago. But it's the simple fact that they already happened. And we know that these incidents are continually happening. Let you know, man, that there will never be a middle ground between so-called black people and so-called black Spanish speaking and Native American people with so-called white people, because the social injustice that's been incorporated in this land will go to show you that there will never be peace on this land, because it was never built on peace. Even all the peace treaties were broken between the natives and the immigrant Europeans. Yes, you're immigrant Europeans here, right? Edomites. Anyway, let's get back to it. So, if anybody should have been charged with disorderly conduct, it should have been the white Edomite woman complaining about the couple. The claim states under the subtitle, Consequences of Laughing While Black: Arrest, Prosecution, and Damages. And then so this man, he's pretty thorough when it comes to keeping the police accountable and recording them of their injustices. As you can see, most of this stuff was like a statement of his, and there were any other officers responding to conduct and investigation to determine whether or not an ordinance violation had been occurred. Everything at that Young and Jameson, the other patrons seated nearby who were witnesses to who had transpired could have been interviewed. So in other words, they're saying they didn't get. Think about this: detectives don't solve shit. They collect evidence and they get information from witnesses. You know what I'm saying? They didn't ask no witnesses surrounding the couple what happened. All they got was Karen's information, the security guard's information, went straight to the couple, then arrested both of them for laughing at a fucking comedy club, y'all. Let this sink in, It took more than 2 years and thousands of dollars in attorney fees before the charges were dismissed against the couple in September 2024. Can you imagine that? You have to spend thousands of dollars in attorney fees just for your charge to be dismissed because a Karen was upset you was having too good of a time. And that right there can economically deprive someone too, having to defend yourself because of your amount of melanin that displays through your skin and because of your spirit as well. The lawsuit accuses the couples of violating the couple's 4th and 14th Amendment right. I want to get to the point. There's supposed to be a point here I was looking for. Yeah, but here you go right here. It says, judging by previous articles reported by Atlanta Black Star over the years, including the time Kansas City police body slammed a Israelite man, not black man, for recording police, and the time they shot and killed an unarmed Israelite man resulted in a $5 million settlement. All right. It is not surprising they would arrest the Israelite man instead of the Edomite woman who started the convocation. Of course. It was, in fact, Young, this Jake right here, who recorded the cop body slam on the Israelite man in 2022. All right. So this goes to show you, man, that they have an issue with Jake, period, because of the curses that we're under. Bear with me one moment. Oh, I'm sorry. So here it is right here. It was literally like in the second paragraph. It says Steve Young, who was also a police accountability activist. I read this. I must have skimmed right past it. Was arrested along with his activist girlfriend, Winfred L. Jameson, who is white. So now you all can see what happened here. This is Jake in Kansas City. He's also he's an activist against police brutality, holding them accountable. And he's also at a venue laughing and having a good old time with his alabaster Edomite woman. Come on now. You can see why they got arrested. They don't like that. You don't understand. I forgot what book it was in. But they deem sex as an act of war. Believe it or not, sex is an act of war in Esau's eyes. Because if an Israelite man have sex with one of their women, they deem it as a way of cutting off their bloodline. Yes, they deem it as an act of war. Remember, Esau them used to breed us in captivity. These devils know. They know about genetics. I mean, even their, I always bring it up, even their birth rates are declining, meaning they are giving up the ghost. They are being put 6 feet under quicker than they are being born. Nature is doing that. Not no policies, no politics. Nature's doing that to you. But nonetheless, that's another reason why y'all probably arrested them, because y'all don't like the fact that they together. Nonetheless, Sirach 13 and 15 through 16, or Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, which is a part of the 1611 King James Version Bible. Every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like. Now, according to the scriptures, the Lord said, we should not marry the daughters of the other women. But there was not a law stating that we cannot. Hence, King Solomon had women from all around the world, all different nations, right? But the reason why that is, why you should have a woman from your nativity is because who's the first teacher of the children? The women. So who's the first teacher of the next generation? The women. The nurturer, the women. So whatever that woman has been taught from her childhood up, regardless of what culture she's in, she's going to teach that to the child based upon their diet, based upon their religious ceremonies, practices, beliefs, and also based upon the name of their gods. So that's why you're supposed to be with the women of your nation. But it's not a sin if you do get with a woman of another nation. Okay? Nonetheless, this is what you will have to go through. So So going into the history, the American history of laughing while black, you have the laughing barrel. I'm going to read this, another precept, and I'm going to close out because I don't want to make this too long. Family, did you know that at one time in America, in Americans' history, that it was illegal for black folks to laugh in public in front of whites? That's right. In the Jim Crow South, if blacks thought something was funny and white folks were around, we had to run to the nearest laughing barrel, stick our heads in it, and laugh. Then we had to come up with a straight face, or else we would get publicly lynched. This is where we get the term a barrel of laughs. This is American history, people. And this is why y'all want to make America great again? American history is a deep, rich, and dark history. Like 80% cocoa chocolate. So dark and deep, you can't even run from it, Esau. I mean, hell, you can try and run from his shadow, but you ain't got a spirit in you, man. You may not even have a shadow, but that's another story, man. Shout out to the movie Sinners, man. Love that movie. Anyway, this is Psalms 94, 21 through 23. I got to buy that on Blu-ray too. I'm going to buy that on DVD. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. But Yahawah is my defense, and my God is the rock of my refuge. And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Lord our God shall cut them off. So, we are a nation that's not desired. Remember, this is not your rest. So with that being said, I truly pray you was edifying, fed, stay in the spirit, don't fear it, just endure it. Ask for forgiveness, pray without ceasing, stay humble, remain diligent. Kwama Sha'Allah, Wafla Babal, Shalom.